Hi everyone, this is Norman Kochnick here, again for Eyes on Cricket. We've got Travis in on 97, having belted 11 fours and 2 sixes in his 84 ball 97. Incredible. Travis Head is certainly proving a lot of discussion about him not being picked, and Kawaja should be picked on this ground. Well, I'm afraid Travis Head is getting rid of all of those suggestions at this moment in time with his 97 on out. Hello, Sharma. The scorecard today has been very interesting. 7 for 324. In fact, that looks like a 4, doesn't it? Travis Head has just scored his century. Travis Head has just scored his century to cement his spot in the team now, after I've given him a bit of a slacking, thinking that Kawaja should be in his place. But it may well be Marcus Harris who might be more danger now than Travis Head. But Travis has come out here and scored a blistering century in only 85 balls with a magnificent on drive of the bowling of Wokes. So Australia are 7 for 3. Let's have a look here. 7 for 324 with a lead now of 177. So they've more than doubled the England innings. At one stage, there was 5 or 6 down, 5 down for 230. They look like they might be all out for 250. But no, Travis has come in and scored 100 in no uncertain terms. With 7 down, he's been partnered there by Mitchell Stark. Pat Cummins was there for a while on 12. He got actually caught by Hamid there back at a short fine leg off the bowling of Joe Root. So Joe Root's got one little thing above, or one little thing on. Hello there, Don 007. He's got one thing on Joe Root. He took his wicket. Well, Joe Root has one thing on Cummins. He took Cummins' wicket. But yeah, Travis Head's come out and scored 102 after earlier on. Dave Warner was dropped countless times and almost run out by Hamid. Should have been run out. Should have been caught by Burns' second slip. But he got out eventually, caught by Stokes off Robbins for 94. Labuschagne just hit a beautiful shot, and then he got out of a shot through Leach. Leach has been targeted, but he did take the wicket. Wokes took Alex Carey in a good cameo there. Cameron Green lasted the 1 ball when Robinson was on 5, was on a hat-trick, actually. So they're 7 for 325. Head has just blasted a big century and certainly has allowed his his situation to occur where he has been in great form. So Travis Head seems to be particularly happy, and look, they're always supporting him. And look, he may well be the person to be in that position, but maybe we need to look at how Marcus Harris goes. We may have to consider Kawaja up the order. Starks has squirted one over covers for a couple. Score now 7 for 326. So Australia certainly have blasted. At one stage they were 5 for 230. In fact, what were they? They were 5 for 195, as a matter of fact. 6 for 236. Now at that point, you could have easily seen them fall over for all that for 250, and the lead would have been substantial enough that they would have put him back in the game somewhat. But no, they've gone on and really blasted the lead now. With Nathan Lyon just over to the left, and 80.5 overs gone there with 328 for 7. Oh, well, it looks like Head's just squirted it through the slip cord on the ground, and he'll not get 4 for it. He'll might get 3. It's putting Australia closer and closer to 200 runs in the front. Who has the fastest century, Ashes century, Australia? Don't know offhand, Don, but I'd say it'd be someone like Gilchrist. Warner is a cat with 3 lives. Still, he misses his century. Yes, that's true. And they probably weren't exactly unhappy about it. So Alex Carey was showing the shots of Travis Head. He certainly was aggressive. He belted Joe Root there at one stage in his cut balls. Well, he's been in a hell of a hurry, as a matter of fact. Very, very Gilchrist-like he's batting today. No uncertain terms, he's scored at a very fast rate and really attacked the bowling. It's been very. There's been a fair bit of discussion at the opening spots though, because there's been a series of bad opening starts. Well, not in the case of Warner, he got 94, but Marcus Harris only getting 3. He's not on the losing side at the moment, but he'll need to get a better score than that. I think he'll definitely need to get a better score than that. He's played several tests now without having scored 100, so on that basis alone, he has to be considered. I mean, again, I keep pushing Collage's case. It comes out of syllabus today. It's true. He certainly has shown that he knew that his spot was, he had to prove himself. In his mind, he was at the GABBA, where people were probably saying, well, maybe Collage should have been having been captain of Queensland and winning the Sheffield Shield and a whole lot of other good things you can argue. But yeah, at this stage, this unlikely hour, Travis Head has scored a massive century in one hell of a hurry. He's copped an absolute shocker there. Wood has bowled what looks like a full toss. And it's hit him in the head. I don't know whether it's hit him. It's hit him on the jaw. He's not well. He's all right, I think. He's carrying on like he's okay all of a sudden, but I think he's got to get that checked out. That was quite a heavy hit. Full toss for Mark Wood on the full. That's not exactly what I would call something that I would like to do, have done. Let's have a look here in the replay. Balls come through. It was actually hit his glove first and then ricocheted off that under his chin, which still a blow, but perhaps not as severe a blow as you might think. Actually, his glove first and then hit his head. So it was a rather unusual set of events there that occurred. Head's not well, but nor would you expect him to be. I think that we're going to do the changes they want to do here. This is this bizarre. I'm going to do the changes again. What's going on? It's a rather heavy hit for Travis. It's come off his glove, his left glove first, ricocheted, then onto his chin. So it was nasty, but it wasn't leached close to a century. It's looking okay there. I think he just thinks everything's all right. So, it loves to do this. It's doing some bizarre things here. We might touch that. Okay. Yeah, Travis said it's not happy, but I don't think he necessarily. English doesn't look prepared. Call Chris. Let's pull his legs. Yeah, well, the fact is that at the moment in England it is 7:16 in the morning. Yeah, it is 7:16. 11 hours behind there. It's 7:16 a.m. in the morning. In all fairness, I know when they're not here. Let's have a look here. So 7 for 332 are England. Leach has got bowling figures of 1 for 95. Yeah, I think he's going to come back on somehow. Chris Wokes took a wicket, 1 for 53. Ollie Roberts taken 348, bowled very, very well. Mark Wood, reasonably well, 1 for 49. Ben Stokes, 1 for 50. Obviously, he's carrying some knee niggle. Jack Leach has been belted around in his 11 overs, 1 for 95. Joe Root bowled 6 for 129. And he's bowled pretty well. Yeah, so. Okay. Now, Travis Head certainly has taken the game by me. Certainly has taken the game by the scruff of his neck, hasn't he? Head's 100 was extraordinary. Warner didn't get his century, unfortunately, but did he deserve it? He was a bit scratchy. What records Travis can make today if he continues? Well, I don't think it's a matter of any records he can necessarily break. I mean, a guy like good old Adam Gilchrist holds a lot of those records. You know, he's been hit. He's been hitting the elbow there. That's Travis' head. And of course, hit in the head as well. So Mark Wood here is coming on the bowl. We'll wait and see what transpires there. There was a comedy of errors though. Of course, there was the drop catch of Warner and second set by Burns. There was also he was bowled neck and crop by Ben Stokes, but it was called a no ball. And the third in that chapter was when he hit the ball, was well out of his crease, dropped his bat, and Hamid fell over basically with him and basically missed an easy stumping chance, which was called a comedy of errors, and that's pretty much what I put on the thumbnail you'll see as well. So there's been a few things going on. What the hell is Leach doing? Yeah, Leach was basically attacked from ball one. He was basically attacked from the very ball one. He's going for 150 without getting out. It looks like he is. We'll show declare making on players play there. Well, I heard Alan Border say he would first in his runs are gold. In my opinion, they've gone probably more than enough right now. They're 40 off 200, 186 in front, which is more than enough. So Woods wants to lead of at least 250 to push back England harder. Yeah, it's true. Plenty of time. This is only the second day of play. Something just happened there. I didn't see that. Looks like Starks hit the ball for 4. Wood Starks ball and was just gone out of the reach of Gully. And it's gone for 4. So that's 190 in front now. You would think that was enough considering the first innings. Stark bowled quite well, but he normally hits the ball pretty well, so whilst there's plenty of opportunities there for him. This morning's Mark Woods tried his best. He's tried his heart out. Seeing Rory Burns in the team makes me cry at the level of talent England Test cricket. Yeah, Rory Burns batting perhaps is a bit left to be desired there. It looks like it wasn't the pitch, but England's lack of intent that led to their downfall. Well, but there's been some. England could have easily got out for a lot less. And I don't think it's been sunny all day. They've had no weather conditions to contend with. Yeah, Rory Burns has a good first-class record. Why he's not doing well in international cricket? Well, look at his first-class cricket, he's not exactly that bad either. He's done pretty well. He scored runs. He's not as lacking as you think. To be honest with you, he's just had this one golden duck. I think I've got a bit more time for Rory Burns in his batting. And unfortunately, he's got out for that golden duck, and he's also dropped a catch. He's had a pretty ordinary test so far. Rory Burns would have been better luck acting, seeing his performance after the dropping catch. Yeah, he looked a bit lost for words, didn't he? But no, let's have a look. Go and have a look at his averages. You'll see that he's a bit better than you're thinking, actually. 15. Let's have a look here. Travis says pull the ball rather early. I'll get at least 2. I'll get 2. Stokes even fully fit. Now Stokes is hobbling around. He has had a bowler. He's a gutsy performer, don't worry. After Heads 100 will close to get a place in the next match. Well, if Marcus Harris fails again, you would think not the second test, but the third test. What's the celebrations there for? Going back to his 100, it looks like they were we're playing at 100. Yeah, Roy Burns would have been okay. So why is Bhuvneshwar Kumar on the squad? On he is on the great swing bowlers of the past. Yeah, well they picked their squad, haven't they? And they've got quite a few out. They've got, and that England squad to South Africa, they've got Akshar Patel looks like he's injured, Jadeja, and also Shubman Gill's also not going. So yeah. Brian Burns was a football player before he became a cricket player, hence the acting. Oh, there you go. Views on Indian Test squad for South Africa. As I said in my posts, you know, it's let's have a look at the side there for a moment. Yeah. So yeah, no Jadeja, no Akshar Patel, no Shubman Gill. Yeah, so I've got the squad here. So you've got Virat Kohli and Rohit and Rahul, the openers. Mark is there and Pujara. So that's your top order there. Rahani's still there, which is a bit of a shock. Shreyas Iyer, Vihari, thankfully he's doing well in South Africa and deserves to be there. Rishabh and Saha, okay. Bharat could have got in there. Ashwin and Janet are in there because obviously Akshar Patel's not there. And Jadeja. Ishant Sharma's still travelling. It's a bit of a shock. Shami, Umesh, Bumrah, Shardul, Siraj with Saini, Thronad, and Deepak. And there's a few there in reserve. So they got 5, 10, 15. They got 18 players in the squad. It's quite a big squad. With Virat, Rohit, captain and vice captain, you would think that Rohit and Carl will open. Pujara will be first. Kohli second drop. I think Shreyas Iyer will be in there with potentially Vihari, Rishabh, Ashwin, Shami, Umesh, Bumrah. And Chad will be in there somewhere. Or with Siraj. Yeah, so that's my thoughts. Heads on 109, Starks on 10, with Wokes bowling in what is effectively what over we on now? There's 15.1 overs left in the day. I think that's not going to be enough. I thought we were finishing by 5:30 on the dot, so I think there's only 5 minutes left in the game, actually. Has Ishwaran played for India A? Yes, Ishwaran is playing right now. He's actually scored a few runs too. They're playing in the India A versus South Africa A game as we speak. Let's have a look at the stories with that. So, and we've got South Africa A are playing India A. South Africa were 268 all out after 50 overs, and India A got 276. South Africa were 1 for 196, and South Africa lead by 188 runs. And in that match, if we look closely, scorecard wise, in India's innings, Ishwaran got 14. What did he get? 14. Ishwaran got 28, opening with Prithvi Shaw, who got 5. Padakal, first drop with 8. Vihari as captain. That second drop got 63. Sarfaraz Khan, 14. Ishan Kishan, 91. Deepak Chahar, 10. Gulfin, 5. Surab Kumar, who's actually in the squad, 0. Navdeep Sani, who's also in the squad, got 27. Inesh and Parole on at 5. So they were up to 276. Marco Jansen is one of the blokes that came over here. And Lutho Sapamia, never heard of him before, has got 5 wickets. And the second innings, South Africa opened Cyril Iwi, got 85 not out. Peter Milan, and the name is not very fit, was LBW Sani for 27. And Zubair Hamza is on 78. So, and Deepak Chahar and Ishan Parole opened the bowling with Navdeep Sani, Surab Kumar. So Deepak Chahar, Navdeep Sani, and Surab Kumar are actually reserves. Gartham and Sarafaz also reserves. They're reserves for the main squad, but yeah, they're not there. So Australia at 196 lead now. You think that's enough? Nasty beam. It wasn't nasty. It came off the glove though under the under the chin. He survived. He's still batting there, so it couldn't have been life-threatening. Ben Stokes is certainly carrying some sort of niggle, but is still bowling. Yeah. Mark Wood's appealing, but there's nothing going on. They're saying 14.3 overs remaining in the day, but we've been told it's only, 2 minutes away from close of play. We'll see who is right. Please tell me about the history of the Supersport Park Centurion. Well, it's like any other test ground in South Africa. There's a fair bit of history there, but not. It's certainly been a ground where a lot of the apartheid period that South African rebel team played. Yeah. Let's have a look here. Do we even need a third umpire, let alone two on field? Let Al and Sensors take over the role of umpiring. AI, isn't it? Well, no, that would be awful. Oh, what happened there? How did that not bowl him? He went for the biggest slog and it went right through. It looked like it went through the stumps, actually. Butler did a great job to be his hand on that. All right. So he won the 7th for 343 after 83.4 overs. Looks like they're going to be virtually 200 in front. Travis Head on 112 off 95 balls, 12 fours and 2 sixes. Mitchell Stark 10 or 22. He's not. Oh, we got an inside edge onto that. Did he get caught? It may have been a drop catch. He's edged it and it's just missed. Actually went outside the leg. It was heading for off stump, actually. Exactly. I've already reported. If you looked at my commentary page, you would see about that. Why, if there are any sport that could benefit from the accepting of technology, it's just cricket. Yeah. Why Mike Hasman not commentary on the Fox instead of he's working under sport? So, well, he's based in South Africa. Understandable. Although he is Australian, born. Now, time-wise, we're up here. So are we seeing the last over here? Looks like the day's ending. At 7 for 343. Travis Head not out 112. Pretty good performance. You'd have to argue. 7 for 343. So we have a crowd here. Has dropped from the first day. We had 30,000 the first. So Australia are virtually 200 in front now. Virtually. Yeah, it's certainly been a incredible day's cricket for Australia. You have to. England are 14 hours short. This literally 1 hour. 14 hours short. I'm not sure that's what you mean by that, but we'll have a look at that. Australia are in fact. So 7 for 343. Travis Head. 112. No, we didn't see that coming, did we? Jeez. That's certainly. Stark, 10 not out. The lead of 196. This is after 2 days. Australia pretty much won this match. Only 147. Well, we'll recap that in a minute. Sorry, typo. What was your typo? 4. Okay. They call off due to light. They won't be docked for those overs because it was no. So Australia are 7 for 343. Travers 112 not out. Stark 10 not out. Lead of 196 runs, with England only scoring 147. So effectively, you think England are going to be hard pressed to even make Australia bat again. Australia going into the third day will probably go for it, not be too worried about the runs, and set England a fairly formidable total. I think England are going to lose this test match in a canter. Australia's going to win it in a canter. England's going to lose it disastrously. Unfortunate as it may seem, but yeah. Let's look at the batting scores here for Australia. Warner had 94 with 11 fours and 2 sixes. Caught by Stokes. The ball he just popped. Robinson, he bowled particularly well. He took 3 wickets in the end on the day. So Marcus Harris was caught beautifully well. Milan at third slip. Labuschagne was caught wood by the bowled Leach. Now he tried to cut the ball off Leach after hitting for 6, I think, or 4 or 6 the ball before, and then cut it, got the top edge and went straight to a backward point wood. Stephen Smith looked unsettled, having to wait quite a while to have a chance to bat, and seemed in a good situation. He got out for 12, caught behind by Butler off wood bowling quite well. Cameron Green lasted 1 delivery off Robinson, was actually bowled. He let the ball go. Bizarre. Shouldering arms. Alex Carey tried hard, but he was out for 12. Pulling the ball off Wokes. Pat Cummins was caught on down leg side off Joe Root for 12. Mitchell Stark still there on 10. Supporting Travis said, who scored his 112 runs today with 95 deliveries with 12 fours and 2 sixes. Adam Gilchrist-like today certainly was impressive. Certainly changed the mood of the match, because if he had got out, Australia could have been allowed for 240, 250 and had a slightly, a reasonable lead of 80, 90. But now they've got a very commanding lead of 196, and they'll probably go well beyond that. And Australia will probably, be in a pretty good situation. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate day there for a lot of frustration in England feeling. Rory Burns' catch was atrocious. He dropped that. There were some other balls which were close, didn't quite get there. And then Hamid missed a certain run out of Warner. But in the end, Warner got 94. So he did make them pay for it, but he didn't get 100. Bowling-wise, as I said earlier, Ollie Robinson was the standout for 3 for 48. Mark Wood was pretty sound with his 157. Ben Stokes looked a bit hampered with although he did have David Warner bowled off for no ball, which could have changed the complexity of the match there as well. So there were 3 dismissals of Warner. One was bowled, but off for no ball. He was dropped at second slip, easy catch. It was dropped shortly after lunch, and it could have been run out not long after by Hamid. So there was 3 possible wickets falling there in the one hit. Jack Leach was belted around. He went from the economy rate of 8.63. It was awful. But he did take the wicket of Labuschagne, but he was pretty well touched up. And Joe Root had to come into play, and he bowled a lot better. So it looks like England are going to have to watch what they're doing with their bowling attack, because it looks like Ben Stokes, if injured, could destabilise the team a little bit there again. Clearly, Broad should have been on the side in place of Leach, you would argue. Anderson should be back. So the second and third test will have a different complexity to the way that the game will go. So England are 7 for. England were late for 147, not forgetting with their innings. Australia 7 for 343, which is in 84 overs. So they scored almost 200 runs more, and they had 30 overs more to bat than England. So it was a good strike. The run rate was actually 4.08. So a very good run rate from Australia, especially because of the likes of Labuschagne Warner, but then ultimately it was Travis Head who really showed his way in terms of his quick fire 195 balls. But that batting order, you put Usman Khawaja in place of Marcus Harris, you got a sensational batting line. Cameron Green got his wicket, but he didn't get a run. Okay, this was this time. We'll give him that's the perspective. So the fact is, though, that Australia have got a very strong lead here. Yeah, it's quite a bit there. So, okay, Australia by an innings. It could well be Rob Marks, could well be. What did Mona Johns have to say here? Never had a good spin after Swan, did they? Well, that's true. That's true. Aussie will come fresh tomorrow and make another 30 or 50 runs as possible. Day called off due to light. No, I don't think it was. It was a finished normal time. Finished normal time. About it all day. There was no stoppages to play that. Always going to finish at 5:30. Wasn't bad light. England never had a good okay. England need to bat for 2 days straight to get a total to defend. Yeah, they won't do that. Well, you wouldn't think they would do it. Fast. Actually, Coley said in his statement that it was really the captain in the ODIs and Tests, but he didn't say that he would captain for sure. Very clear, Coley. The fact is that Coley still has one of the best records in T20, ODI, and Test cricket for India by far. We shouldn't discount that. If he's not captaining now in the ODI and T20 format, that's fine because he'll do a great job with Test cricket. No doubt about that at all. It may free him up to bat well even more so. England should have attacked the Aussies like India, with India attacking field and attacking bowling. Well, that's true, partly true. Kohli and his PR, his stocks went down after his performance in the Super World Cup. The captaincy announcement. Hence, he's playing his card to get over. Yeah. Australia by an innings. Yeah, that's probably the case. England should have attacked. We've talked about it already. England seems lost. It's like that. We have no idea how to play Test cricket. I wouldn't go that far. Well, Aussies getting an innings win. Well, at this stage, you would think so. Who will the openers be? They're going to go back to Rahul and Rohit, and Agarwal may well push Pujara out, as Shreyas may push Rahane out. You could see, and deservedly so, a Test team which has Rahul, Rohit, and then someone like Agarwal, because Shubman Gill's not there. Agarwal at first drop, Kohli at second, and then after that, Shreyas goes in. That to me is an in-form powerhouse team. Don't forget, Jadeja's not there as well. That'll be interesting to see what they do with that position. Is that what you want to talk about, guys? Yeah, Warner. There's a comment here saying Warner rides his luck. England left a pond and missed chances, no balls in selection. Yeah, that's true. They probably should have selected a broad combination of the bowling. Would have got Warner out first up. Yeah, it's true, David. Warner. They don't talk about. They don't talk about. I'm talking about Travis Head, are they? But England still got 94. Still got 94. It is a bit of an interesting one. Yeah, a lot of talk about Warner rather than the fact that we've had Haynorman, Warner Memes, and Head stars for day two. Yeah. After Head's 100, will Khawaja get a place in the next match? I still think he will. Not. I don't know about the next match. I don't think he was ever going to get a go in the second match. Not these players were selected for both tests. It'll be the third test. Jim may see Khawaja go in for Harris if Harris continues to fail. Should replace Harris, but doubt the selectors will give it. Yeah, if Marcus Harris performs badly in these two matches, then they've got to put that pressure on. Who'll win Lanka? Oh God, Baram, who cares a lot? The Lanka Premier League. I hate to say it, who cares, because it's pretty true. I don't think anyone's really. Well, you tell us, Baram, who you think. I seriously don't understand Australia with way of thinking. Khawaja should have that regular by now. The fact that he isn't in a contention baffles me. Yeah, there's something not right there. Something not right there. KK, I mean, Kolkata Knight Riders. And Jadeja and the Test they'll probably bolster. They may bring Vihari in. Let's talk about Cameron Green's work. Well, Cameron Green, several times now, he's done the shield level, even against Manus Labuschagne of all the bowlers. He's shouldered arm, let it go. So he's not judging the length or the length and the line of the bowling to or something. Team from Candy, Baram, Candy Crushers. Well, if they've got Nick Ross and Dickwell, I agree. Yeah, Labuschagne and Smith played well. Labuschagne was steady as he always is. Smith was not wanting to wait so long, probably the issue there. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? But Labuschagne, look, steady. Was steady. Didn't play beautifully at all, but he played steadily. Okay, Aussie's going to win the series. Well, if early to say that winning the series, they're going to win this match. Strokes and 14 no balls. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Okay. Is this the worst phase in Steve Smith's Test cricket? Oh, well, it's not a phase. He only got one low score. This is his lowest score against England in years. So, no, it's too early to say. Do you think Green expects greater bounce when he leaves on the stumps? Well, yeah, and you normally would get that in WA, South Australia, in Brisbane as well. My squad: Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Iyer, Punt, Ashwin. Punt and I can't be both in. I'd say Vihari, Siraj, Bumrah, Sharmi. That looks okay. You're missing a bowler there. So if Vihari goes in there, I'll go up the order. Do you like India also? Of course I do. Of course I love that. What are your thoughts? I don't think you'll see Punt and Saha together. Vihari a bit higher in the order than that. You may see one more bowler in the squad, but Pujara is under threat into Agarwal big time. Would Shreyas Iyer stay in over Agarwal? That's the question I've got. Rest Pujara. Let Agarwal and Iyer take the lead early on. Because Agarwal and Iyer should not be dropped. Rahani's in the squad, but he won't be playing. Pujara may miss the first match. Give the other guys a go, I say. So as we speak here, there is another. Let's have a look here. Try and work. There we are. It's decided to come on. Seems to not like being charged for too long. Okay. Yeah, so Australia are in a commanding 196 runs lead position. Kiriko. Manu Fidel.
Hello, Manu. I'm MKR fame. Yep.
No, it's just a bit of fun there. We're trying to find this particular situation of Buria winning Premier 7:30 now. It's been delayed. Has it been delayed or was it? I was in conversation with Rohit. They're putting a bit of a combination of things here. I wonder whether that's the way it's going to be. That, yeah, there's a lot of things going on at this stage. So Agarwal opens, Iyer bats in middle order. Yes, well, if Agarwal, well, then maybe you should put Rohit Sharma with Agarwal and have Rahul at first drop, Kohli, then Iyer. What about that? Rohit and Rahul are both going to play. Does Pujara, Rahane is not going to be playing the first match. I'm almost certain of that. He's on the squad, but he's not going to be playing. So realistically, you would have to think that if that's the case, then Iyer stays in. And the upper order situation will be a fight out between Pujara and Agarwal. And realistically, Agarwal should be given the nod, with Rohit and Rahul straight back in. If you want Rahul to bat first drop, I'd be happy with that. Who do I support in the BBL? I'm a Sydney person, so Sydney Sixers would be my team. Rahul combo is best for India in overseas, yes. But you don't have to consider Agarwal somewhere up there because he's been batting exceptionally well. Huge situation there for that. Yeah, so we've got a fair bit going on there, guys. A fair bit indeed. And there's no qualms about that at all. Let's just see what we got in terms of who we want to look for. Look at extra time. Extra time, we've had a few starting points. They've had 32 minutes ago, the launch of Backstage Boy was on, and they've got 345 views. Okay. Yeah, so extra time certainly are pumping out the work. So yeah, there's a lot of time for Borja, of course, in his work, without a doubt. Love watching his stuff. Okay, let's have a look at some of the points here. Saracens got Elgar. Is Elgar in it? I haven't seen his name. Khawaja can replace Marcus Harris. I have to wait for the third test for that. Hang on, now what will you say? Your biggest critic I've had now, you've nothing left to say. His head proves his worth. Well, that's good. I've got plenty lot to say. Travis Head did not deserve to go in front of Khawaja. He's now had his opportunities taken. Not unlike, remember when Rahul played and he had both Agarwal, he had Shubman Gill in front of him in the opening of the batting, and he then couldn't play in England because of an injury, went home. Then Agarwal got hit in the nets, was about to replace Shubman Gill. Then Rahul, who was third choice, came in and scored a century. Good on him. Travis Head should have been behind Khawaja. Now, he has played well. He's shown as much as he can in his first game. But I can tell you this much. This has been a great performance by Travis Head. But he needs to be consistent. That's the issue. And they're saying he couldn't get past 50 a long time. Well, he's gone out there and stamped his approval. He's certainly got his Guernsey for the series, yes. But Khawaja should still be in that team. And Marcus Harris doesn't get his act together. He will lose his spot to Khawaja. So quick talk with Mansur Chowdhury while you're talking. I'm talking about, what do you mean? I've got if I can be a critic of someone, I'm a critic of David Warner. Huge critic. Now, he got 94 today, which has got him, but he also struggles in parts, but he got 94. Good on him. I want them to see, but I'm going to be critical of him at any time I want to be. When I think, all right, Travis Head did not deserve his position over Khawaja. He's taken it and he's run with it. Rahul was behind Shubman Gill and Agarwal, correct? Wasn't he? Shubman Gill and Agarwal were in front of Rahul in that test series in England, but Rahul came in there and took his opportunity and has run with it since. Correct? Same with Travis Head. He hadn't done enough, in my opinion, to be back on the side, but he's given opportunity, he's taken his chance. Khawaja's still there, and there's another position on the side for him in place of Marcus Harris. So there you go. Agarwal should either play one down or three down, with Iyer playing ahead of him. I don't know whether Iyer's going to play ahead of him, so Agarwal's in a great spot there, should be opening on all first drop. My side would be, again, Rohit Sharma, Rahul. First drop, Agarwal. Pujara sits on the sideline. Kohli second drop because of form. And then Iyer goes in after that. Then Rishabh punt, and then we go from there. Okay. We'll also declare tomorrow before the first session. I don't think they're going to. That's going to be going for it. Missing. Okay. I think Khawaja can replace Marcus Harris. I agree. A second, Norman. Khawaja should have been in the team. Totally. Absolutely. Hi, Suzanne SB. I don't. If someone does well, good on them. It doesn't mean I can't critique them. And Kawaja should have been in front of Head. Shubman Gill and Agarwal, well, in fact, go back further than that, Prithvi Shaw, then Shubman Gill, then Agarwal were all the opening batting selections first for India. Then came Rahul. Karl Rahul wasn't even in the Indian team. He got his opportunity and he went for it, and he commended that. Agarwal and I more recently had the opportunities and they're gone for it. It's time that Pujara and Rahane move to the side, especially Rahane's already gone. Okay? And that's fact. I think that you will not see Rahane in the first test match in South Africa. It'll be Iyer, and Agarwal will probably come in for Pujara, and that will be the right selections. Who do you think should India play extra batter in place of Jadeja and play full bowlers? Yeah. When you say full bowlers, you mean Shami Bumrah, obviously Ashwin, and maybe Umesh Yadav, perhaps, or Siraj. Okay. So Agarwal and I should be in the sides. Prove themselves emphatically against New Zealand. That's it. So the South African squad is Elgar, Rassi, De Kock return. That's interesting. Rabada, who's always and Norwich, Unrich, Nagidi, Maharaj, Lind, Markram. These are the 9 who will play the other 2. What are your thoughts on them? It sounds at home that obviously they've got an advantage, but they're not unbeatable. Certainly, India should be able to beat them. Sushil Devkota from Nepal. Thank you very much. That's great that you're in Nepal and you're watching. Full bowlers, it's a strict no. It's a strict no in South Africans. They need a 5th bowler. Okay. Well, then you'd have Ashwin, but you might have the backup bowlers. You may have one less batter. Vihari's in the squad too somewhere. Vihari's another player that's played in Australia very admirably and has fallen away in terms of where he should bat. He should be up there as well. Will Leach be dropped in the second test? He is not playing. Who will replace him? They may. This is Adelaide. Yeah, it's an interesting one. They're going to bring in definitely. They may well leave Leach out and not bring a spinner in and let Joe Root do that because he did it quite admirably just today. So bring Broad in, and interesting with Ben Stokes. He's injured. We'll see how Mark Woods fares up. You might see both Anderson and Broad come in for the second test. Maybe for Wood and Leach. If Wood doesn't stand up to the speed, he may be held back for another test. No one's beaten South Africa at their home ground except Sri Lanka. Well, there's no reason why India can't do it. No one beat Australia at the GABBA before India did. Vihari can bowl a few overs too. Well, there you go. If that's the case, he's another coup for him to be in that situation for sure. So 159 there. As to the GABBA reviewing day 2, it certainly has been a great day for Australia. 7 for 3. There's some. They have been in good state, haven't they? Let's have a look here. This with Australia now. Travis Head's got a century there. The 7 for 343. England were 147, so Australia were 196 ahead after 2 days of cricket. This will be a victory to Australia, I would think, unless rain is at all in the play, which it probably won't be. It's raining here in Sydney a little bit. So let's look here. We've got. What was the reason of Seatsman getting early? According to you, it just wasn't. He just had to wait a long time. He's had an amazing record for so long. He has to fail occasionally. Got a good ball and he nicked it. What was the reason? Okay, Virat, Vihari, Rohit, Gill's a colleague can bowl a few, but going by record, only Rohit is a decent bowler with an IPL hat-trick under his kitty. Well, Gill's not in this squad at the moment, so will Kohli change his template of 5 bowls and 5 batsmen plus pass? He could go for an extra batsman. Could. We'll see. I think 5 bowlers, Ashwin, Siraj, Ishant, no. Ishant Sharma, no. Siraj, Shami, Bumrah, yes, with Ashwin. Okay, and then Thakur maybe the next step. Shushil, Dakota. Where should the 5th test be played? At this point, it looks like it's going to be Hobart. Even the Prime Minister's weighed in and said that. Then Sydney and Melbourne are bidding heavily as well. One of those two might get it, but I don't think so. I think it's going to stay with Hobart. Amy Valeries, my 4 bowlers, is a no in South Africa as well. It is a bowling set of grounds. It's not unlike Australia. Spin bowling is probably not as vital there, to be honest with you. Ashwin will be a good selection though. Prasanth Narayan. England have never done well in overseas, and I think lack of preparation is leading to injuries. Well, they have had a pretty well. No one's had a good preparation because of the weather, and they did get there really early, so it wasn't a matter of them not getting there early enough. It's had some weather issues, didn't they? Peter Hansen won't be coming back. I doubt that he'll come back. Now there's Carey's back as a keeper. He looked sound enough. Steve Smith looked good and good touched according to me, but since he has changed his technique, he has not been successful that soft stuff. Well, look, he had to wait a long time for that partnership to fail and show him a good position. Steve Smith does better when we're 2 or 3 quick wickets down. That's what they were saying. If India plays 5 balls, it has to be Shardul and Ashwin. Because they're not considering Shardul's batting prowess. Absolutely. If Jadei's not around, Shardul's your next best all-rounder, without a doubt. Disappointed that wanted to get 100. Yeah, he would be. But he was also very lucky to get anywhere near that with 3 dismissals. Bowled by Ben Stokes of a no ball. Dropped his second slip off, I think it was Robertson. And then run out would have been on when he ran and Hamid dropped the ball and basically Warner dropped his bat. Yeah, it's a very interesting situation. Well, Australia's in a great position, let's be honest. If India plays 5 balls, amazing innings by Head, who would have expected this? I didn't expect it. I think he was extremely determined. And he played a fairly faultless innings too. Hats off to him. It's helped him keep his position for sure. Mind you, he's there, but he's not really. He hasn't lost any position. It's more of a case that Khawaja on form should be in the team. Now, Head's taking his opportunity, scored 112 off 95 balls with 12 fours and 2 sixes. Well done. He cemented Australia's lead today well and truly. So they put Australia in an unassailable lead of 196 runs with still 3 wickets in hand. They could easily go 250 in front, which will be very difficult for England to get anywhere near. And if they do, it'll be commendable. But that's the point of this whole discussion, that he has taken his opportunity. Great. Khawaja should have been in the beginning. So Marcus Harris has 3 innings, the second innings of this match, which he may not even get a chance to do anything. It was maybe a saviour for him. And the test in Adelaide, if he doesn't score in any of those 2 matches, Khawaja is commanding a chance. That's pretty certain, I would say. Khawaja will certainly be commanding a chance to get the position in the zone. Why were Australia playing fast after Labuschagne got out, even when 45 overs were left, playing fast? Well, they've decided they want to take hold of the match. Commendable. The way Australia used to be when they had Adam Gilchrist in the same. Very similar situation occurred. Should Khawaja place Harris? Let's give it till after the Adelaide test. We'll talk about it. But it looks as though that may well happen. We may have to wait until after that Adelaide test. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. That's the idea. So, Murugesan Vivekanandan, you're obviously got a very. Is it a Tamil name? Please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Well, Mitchell Stark's there on 10. Pat Cummins got out to Joe Root. At least Joe Root's got something over him. Should Sandeep Lamashane play matches for the Hurricanes? How about Hurricanes? Why not? Can Travis said score a double 100 on day 3? That would be asking a hell of a lot for his partners, namely Stark, Hazelwood, and Lyon, to be able to stick with him. You never know, but I don't think so. Not because he's not capable. I just don't think it'll warrant, the situation doesn't warrant that, because they're already 196 in front. They've probably got, going into the third day, just in case weather does play a factor, they want to be getting in the bat sometime, no later than the middle of the day. Have a good crack at them on day 3 and leave 2 full days to get them all out, which they'll do quite readily, I think. I suppose you knew that, and I've already subscribed. No, I know. I was married to a Sri Lankan. I know a lot about Tamils, both from Tamil Nadu and also those that were in Sri Lanka. Will do I want to get a place in ODI squad until South Africa? He's on the fringe still. He's getting on a few years now, but he's on the fringe. He's always been a valuable player, hasn't he? But it is interesting. The Indian squad, that's the top, not the A squad, but the final squad, has a lot of the Indian bowlers that are in the attack there, which will be very used to conditions. And I'm talking about people like Navdeep Sani, Surab Kumar, Deepak Chahar, Sarfraz Khan is also there. Vahari is also there. Ashwaran was in the previous test squad. And they got Padikal, they got Shaw, they got Ishan Kishan. Oh my God, India's got lots of players to pick from. It's time for Rahane to move to the side. And Pujara's numbers all days are up as well. I think Shreyas Iyer and Agarwal need to be in that side. In the side, not hanging around the side, but in the side. Australia 250 lead, you think is safe. Okay. Quadra's a good player of spin, and if he opens, he can successful impact. So, yeah, that's true. He's got multiple subcontinent backgrounds that he can certainly work very well, and I think that's one thing they have to understand. And he's still fit and young enough. He captained his Brisbane side, his Queensland side, to victory. So he's certainly up there still. Absolutely, 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 absolutely. I'm very happy to have reached 20,000 subscribers. I've got 20,166 at the moment. I'm hoping to get well into the 50,000 mark by the next year, and hopefully 100 the year after, if not all before that. But that's my mini goals. I'd like to get 50 by at least next year and 100 by the year after. Then I can start. Then things start to go well. After for Rahane, probably Pujara. Yes, definitely. I'm surprised Rahane's there. Kohli hopefully is bringing more talents. You're right. Does India need players like Stokes and Green and Test as Hardik is out performing not in the squad? Well, they do have to look for an all-rounder. I think, yes. Shreyas Iyer can also give you 8 to 10 overs a day, but he could be the one they may think of. Could well be him. Why not? Nothing wrong with that. He would certainly do the team proud, I'm sure. Does the batting display from Australia show how bad England really are? No. I wouldn't say that England. Give them a bit of time to settle down. Ben Stokes to find a bit of form. You'll see, and Root will get run. Root's got to show some runs. He's got to show that he can bat in Australia. He's been fantastic so far this year, or this calendar year. Is 250 lead enough for innings win? I think so. The way things are going, you would think so. But England could improve the batting. They've got nothing to lose. They can bat long. They're in no rush. If the weather today was perfect, there was no disruption at all. The sun was out the majority of the day. There's not much to worry about today at all. That went really, really well. Best test squad at the moment and the worst. What, England, the Indian side or the Indians? I mean, Indian side. Fast bowler all rounder. Is that what Indian is? Not a balanced middle order. Fast bowling all rounder, perhaps. Don't you think that the lead of 106 is enough for England? Yes. Piyush Sharon, I would say it is, but there's 3 days to go on the test match, so they don't need to leave that quickly. Shardul is not hard, except India fast bowling all-rounder is pending. True, but Shardul's certainly quality in terms of bowling and batting. We've seen evidence of that already. He certainly did play well against England, and he showed his wares. I'll tell you now. Very impressive, actually. Very impressed with Shardul Thakur. I think there's a lot more going on than we found. They realised that potential, without a doubt. This test won't last more. This test will probably be finished by either tomorrow or into the fourth day. There certainly is a lot to be said there. So, Vark Tech, what's that? Alex's take. What are you talking? Do you think Anderson was in place of Wood would have done better for England? I think Broad would have been the one, especially against Warner early, would have taken his wicket. Probably got Travis Heads and your Alex Carey's out pretty quickly too. Absolutely. Anderson's being held back. I think they're saying there was a bit of a niggle going on there. So we may see him appear in the second and third test. So I think the second test we'll see Broad and Anderson both come back. Do I think Pat Cummins should have declared and let the English openers bat for a few overs? So ideally, that would have been the go, but Alan Border said it all, being a previous captain. So Travis had virtually hit a century in a session too, by the way, very much a la Doug. See, someone like Doug Walters back in the day scored those sorts of centuries, which Travis Head did in sessions all the time. He did the first session, middle session, last session. That was Doug Walters. That's how good he was. Not unlike Adam Gilchrist. Both had that ability to score a century in a session. And look how incredible that it was to watch. A lot of good things that come out of that for sure. Absolutely. Vol, FYI, I'm not sure. I don't know what you're saying there, Lorraine Brian. VOI, FYI. Okay. Curtis Patterson, opener Warner. Okay. Curtis Patterson for New South Wales is certainly a person I would consider, yes. But Khawaja should go in front of him. And ultimately, quite a few others, Wolf Koski, and then even that, is it Henry Hunt's up there as well. There's a few coming through. Australia are lacking a bit of batting depth. You'd have to say that. Social difficulty positives exist on Mike Hussey, I guess. What do you think? Well, yes, yeah, he's very similar. Mike Hussey was extremely unique. He went in there and did what Travis Head did today all the time. Oh, God, there's some comments coming through which I can leave a lot to be desired. I'm sorry. So Mike, he is like a Mike Hussey. I think, I think Khawaja would be good to try and play some Marcus Harris. Well, one of them for next match, it'll have to happen in the third test. Reports told that Coley will not play ODIs in South Africa. That's correct. He's, well, not play, I don't know, but he's at this point being taken away from the captaincy, which is not the end of the world. Which team, middle, lower, order battery players are the best right now? Wish our punt was this time last year, for sure. Shreyas Iyer is in that position at the moment. This test is heading towards an Australian victory. Do you think England will learn from their mistakes and improve this test? No doubt. Can the Nepalese guy play international cricket for Australia? Well, if he's good enough, and if he's an Australian citizen, yes, every chance he could. Robert Sharma is named ODI captain. That's correct, which is not a serious problem by any stretch of the imagination. Realistically, that's good news for India, because that means you'll find that someone like players in that position can develop. No, I've got no problems. Look, I mean, Kohli will just flourish without the problems. Lucky Warner, Nair Trivedi, you're right. We'll still play at 3 now. Kohli probably should be at 3, to be honest with you. I don't know why he's at 4. I think he's better at being at 3. That's my thoughts. But anyway, like Ricky Ponting was. But it's not the end of the world if he bats at 4 either. There's nothing wrong with that at all. There's a lot of good things going on in the world of cricket. I think more than negative. Getting addicted to your channel now. Social Dakota, thank you. We will get more guests on. Look, it's a bad time for everybody at the moment. It is 8 o'clock in the morning on a weekday in England. I can't expect people to be there. The timing suits me perfectly because I'm here. Getting addicted to it. Hello, sir. How are you? What is that? I can't believe the Australians seem to win this test match between good at. Well, I did expect them to do well in this first test, but there's a long way from finish. This is 5 tests. Great batting show by Oz. They did well. But it is the first test. I think India and Australia punched at Ashwin, Paddy Stark and Alex Green. Yeah, look, the reality is Australia have chosen the GABBA test as the first test, which should have happened against India, but didn't. And we paid the price. India walloped us in that last test. Warner was pretty good. I thought Travis Head played really well today. And people say I'm critical of him. Well, I have been, because I think Khawaja should have went in front of him. Anyway, why not go with Ishan? He is now skillless bowler. Yeah, I think he's had his time. He's past his best, and it probably is enough bowlers to move on to. They've got to let go of Rahane, they've got to let go of Ishan Sharma, and probably start to consider Pujara as well. With Shreyas Iyer, with Siraj there, with Agarwal, and a whole bunch of other batsmen in the Indian A side. Song. It is the pitch. The Australian pitch is more bounce and have a bit of glugginess. That means it sticks and goes up. A bit tennis ball bounce like. Their balls don't have to be short to lift. Their balls are not always missing the stumps, unless you're Green facing a delivery, which he was played too confident to let it go. Labuschagne, underrated batsman. Well, he's got a batting average of 60. Can't be too underrated, but is he? He's doing okay at the moment. I'm not going to knock him. I've just got my reservations for some reason. And don't ask me why, but I do. Not knocking him as a player, but I've got some reservations about him. I don't know quite why, but he hasn't had a set of failures yet, which usually is the mark of a man, how you come back from failures. Head played innings which he thought, I'm going to do well today. Tomorrow could be the last day of this test. Yes, you're right. Could well be. For England's sake, you would hope it's not. Maybe now, innings defeat waiting well. Australia going to really grind it into the dust. They're going to go for at least half. Well, it just depends on them. They've got Stark, Hazelwood, and Lyon. They've got a great deal of batting there. He can keep going. Eventually, the wickets will fall. I reckon sometime during the first session, they'll be all out, and England will be in bat. England can't bat as badly in the second innings. You would think if they got a daylight today, it was sunny, England will bat a lot better. England will get more runs. but I don't think they're going to have enough to make Australia bat again, if at all. Siraj, it's time to put him in front of Ishant. I agree. Siraj extracts more from it's correct. Labuschagne, Rahul, and ODI and Test. Labuschagne's not really a short form player for some reason. Joe Root scored 500 plus runs against India. Why against India? Why does he have problems batting a bounce your ball, bounce your pitch? But he's just got here. Give him a chance. It's got 5 tests there. Don't worry. Australia got a very strong leg side field to try and counter him as well. What is the current situation of Omicron in Australia? A handful of cases here and there, and no one's taking it too worriedly or concerningly. We're all double jabbed with 95% double jab and boosters and all that. So we're pretty safe. Omicron is more contagious, but they believe, but people aren't going to be hospitalised because of it. Warner was bowled on 12. Yeah, or was he 12? I think it was a few more than 12, but yeah, he bowled pretty cheaply. Why Oz declared the news pitch morning Pat Cummins thought. Well, look, Alan Border said it. First innings runs are gold, and they can get another 50 runs. They're going to go for tomorrow morning and be out the first session or two. So it won't be that much of an issue. It'll just mean that Australia will probably, have more time to. They'll have enough time. It's only going to be the halfway stage of the test, so England have a lot to do. Why? Okay, yeah. So England are going to lose this test match, but let's see a bit of fight from them, huh? The concern that I have with Australia is, with England, is Ben Stokes. They're relying on extremely heavily. It's a big call that they're relying on him very, very heavily. Yeah, Australia dominant again. Head's ton in a session. Yeah, Head did score a test century in a session. Not unlike Doug Wallace, who I've had on my show. I've had him on the show. He did that several times. But that no declaration. Well, they haven't got many wickets to fall, so it's not a big deal to do that. Even for the Ashes, very good partnership. But Charlie claps for the yeah, they had a wobble there at some stages. So Africa's the most dangerously affected by Omicron. It is. Yeah, that's where India are going, aren't they? Interesting. It's a bit of a headache for them, for sure. Yeah, it's a headache for India having to go there. Well, the Sri Lankan women's side, they've got 6 or 7 with COVID, and a handful of the Bangladesh girls also that were over there recently. So, it's pretty big. TikTok is actually supporting Australian cricket. It's interesting to see all that happen. Okay, so do you think Broadburn should be dropped from the England side? No, he shouldn't be. Hazelwood and Cummins bowling line is near off stump. That is difficult to play for any batsman, correct? Leach has destroyed ball 1 and company 11 over. It's true. They've attempted to get him out of the attack, which really destabilised the England bowling attack. And the reliance on Ben Stokes, and now that he's slightly injured, there are going to be some destabilisations going there, but they've got big guns to come. Broad and Anderson are certainly there in the wings. Don't worry. And Don Best is there. He might be running. You never know. He might be quite effective as well. But Leach was certainly got at today. Yes, there's nothing about that at all. That was a plan. No doubt that was a plan. Three 376. Yeah. It is if you look at that Dave Warner run out, I'm sure you all saw that. He ran, fell out of his crease, dropped his bat, wasn't even holding his bat. Hamid could have walked to the stumps and got him out. Sometimes you've got to be as calm as anything and go do what you got to do calmly. Batting or fielding or for that matter, bowling. It's certainly a powering along. At least not plenty more tests in the series. Well, they keep ignoring him, but he hasn't gone yet. Root was much sure how he can win without Archer, Broad, and Anderson, especially this match, but it hasn't quite worked. Today, 6 overs lost. Well, that's not many, and I think overall they've done a pretty good job. Root captaincy is not well. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Warner got caught on a no ball. So I was bowled on a no ball, got caught, and ran out. Yeah, he had 3. He was certainly lucky today. And then didn't get his 100. It was probably the balancing effort there. Who will be the favourites for World Test Championship final in 2023? India, definitely. New Zealand, it depends. Australia could come through, and England. They're probably the top 4. But we have to wait and see on that. It's been a pretty good day of cricket. There's no doubt of that. England only have 2 bowlers today, Robinson and Wood. No, Wokes was pretty steady. Leach wasn't. Ben Stokes was also pretty good and got the wicket of Warner, as we know. Unfortunately, that was just the one off that he didn't succeed. So it's unfortunate. Yeah, there certainly is a lot to be said about the way England played today. They tried hard. They just didn't have the firepower, which semi-disappointing. Australia, of course. Of course, this one will always be India, England, New Zealand, Australia. Well, not always, but they're the ones at the moment. I'm supporting Australia, who were only 84 overs bowled, considering they were stopped. There's nothing wrong with that over rate. Which team is? I've mentioned Australia. Which Australian team am I supporting? Australia. Which team is? Okay. Why not first time no ball, no 100? You know, it's pretty incredible. Only rain can save England. It won't be that much. They didn't have anything stopping rain today. Hi, Kishan Salvi. How are you? Will it always be India, England? I think it will be. And New Zealand Test team is not best because they won most matches in their home. Well, not necessarily. They've got a problem now with Williamson being injured. Waiting for Michelle Vaughan. No, I guess Michael Vaughan's been a bit girly, hasn't he? Stop the spam, yes. Can Ollie Robinson do what Jofra Archer did England back in that 19 Well, maybe not that powerful, but Ollie Robinson with Anderson and Broad, it's a pretty good triplet, isn't it? Safer can't hide. $8.52. Yeah, we've had a pretty good day, guys, haven't we? But feeling the time India Pakistan final test, that'll be great if that would happen. It'd be a fantastic WTC championship. So King in the best player for India. Kohli's still the best player, but they've got some young guys coming through. Shreyas Iyer and Agarwal certainly coming through. Rowett up there as well. Rahul, bowlers, Bumrah, punt on his day can be as good as anyone. Just hasn't had that much chance. So Mark Wood bowled 20 overs today, and Chris Wokes bowled 20 overs. Let me have a look at the actual bowling there. Let's have a look here. So Wokes bowled 20, Ollie Robinson bowled 18, Mark Wood bowled 20, Stokes 9, Jack Leach 11, Root 6. So Ben Stokes clearly didn't bowl that much, did he? If Rob improves his batting, he's so good for England because he already a match winner with the ball. Ollie Robinson you're talking about. Yeah, he's a very good bowler. His batting is okay too, just hasn't done it yet. Nothing wrong with anyone's side are pretty good. Police Hindi, what am I talking about? Kishan Salvi. Coley was not sacked. He's still playing in all formats, so he's not sacked. But as Tommy went with ODI, finally, we had a good discussion about it. Hey, bro, I'm a big fan of thank you, Shohel Khan. Please, I'm not sure what that means, Kishan Salvi. Please don't get me to say that I shouldn't be saying. So the backstage with Boria is there. Band-Aid, it was on several years ago. Yeah. Who will win that test? I think Australia. Of course they will. Best bowling all-rounder at the moment, according to me. Best bowling all-rounder. Pat Cummins, if you want to call him an all-rounder. Jadeja certainly there too. Shakib, what I was saying. For India's best bowling attack for fast bowlers, Siraj Shami Bumrah, yes. Pat Stark and Josh, well, Belt, Southeast, they're right up there. Robertson brought out. The New Zealand England attacks are very much up there. India, I think, depending on the location, can be slightly better. Australia depends where they're playing too. All four are admirable, to be honest. Yeah, it certainly is. There's been a few of those channels on, hasn't there? So this could be the fastest century in Ashes after Gilchrist. It's right up there. It's right up there. Absolutely. Especially for a lower middle order batsman, yes, I would agree. It was fantastic. It would be right up there, certainly. He's 112.95. What did he get 100 after 85, was it? That's pretty much up there. Hamish Chartered, I think you're right. Right up there. So let's look back at the batting of Warner today. Now, he was bowled by Ben Stokes, but was no ball. Then he was dropped after lunch at second slip by Rory Burns. Then he was, not long after that, attempted run out was muffed and he was not out. He was able to then push on to 94 and got out again. So look, do you think Akshar Patel is capable of to play overseas? Yes, absolutely. 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 Best captain. India's best captain ever would have to be Virat Kohli. Statistically, Virat Kohli is the best captain India have ever had. And I've talked about that before. Very notably. Very, very notably. Absolutely huge, actually. Yeah, no, there's certainly a lot to be said about that. Absolutely, guys. So you think, okay, we're at all MS. Yeah, I think MS certainly in the short format, yes, absolutely. But Virat Kohli's test record is pretty damn good. So we mustn't take that away from him. Will there be a crowd in a Southern group? I doubt it very much. Mark Wall says, oh, you should give more respect to Leach. Why? More respect to Leach? I don't get that. Sir Ganguly Dada, my best captain. He certainly was a great captain's captain, there's no doubt. Ganguly, MS, and Kohli. All three are great captains for India. Rohit Sharma could also be one in the future. MSC overall, well, Virat or Kohli in white ball. You'd have to argue Virat to an extent. Kohli, so Rohit certainly has done it in the IPL. Yes, I'll give him that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Can Dom Best replace Leach? Well, we could see him be put in there, yes. He may well be featuring in the Sydney Test later and maybe the Hobart Test. We'll wait and see. Yeah, I mean, Trevor said that he's certainly getting applauded all over the place. So, War says Aussie should not smash Leach this badly. Oh, I don't know why they're saying that. What is your take on the 14 no balls by Stokes? Worrying, absolutely worrying, especially because one of them was a wicket. Virat has not won an IPL. Rohit has won 5 IPLs. That's true. That's true. But his record still was very, very good statistically for ODIs for his country. So I'm judging it by that. So please, my bowling. I'm not sure what that is. So Rohit over Virat in IPL, but Virat equals Kohli internationally. Okay. Yes. India show. I can't. Kishan Salvi are saying things which I'm not aware of what you're saying, so I'm loath to actually make comment about that.
That have in the back of it.
Well, 2.3 million, what do you expect?
What you
No, it's yeah, it certainly is a big deal. I'm pretty happy with that effort by Australia today, though. They're ahead by a significant margin. They've deserved that position, haven't they? Certainly have deserved that position. You'd have to argue that. I need to get that shared or go to Twitter. Share this, what we're talking about now, on Twitter. And I'll then also share it on, copy it there as well. Okay, we've got the vision coming through here. Okay, we've got vision there from Travis Head and John Lewis. They're the two we've got vision from for the day as well. Export. Save video. Let's put the old settings on. Yeah, so we've got a fair bit to do there, guys. Fair bit to do. So, Sharma or David Warner, they're both good for their countries. You can't really split them up. How many broadcasting cameras are there in an ICC match, Norman? It really depends. There's dozens and dozens. Should BCO allow leg spinners like Chahal to play tests? Why are there only finger spinners and tests around the world? Apparently, I know Warner. Yeah, I agree. Wrist spinners are certainly a lost, dying art, and we should be actually able to see more of that as well. I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. I'd say it's something we need to see more of. I think. Totally agree with that. Totally and utterly agree with it. I'm just going to find. Let's download a video, guys. It's important we get this downloaded. That's a video with John Lewis, the England coach. Let's have a look here. Cricket Australia. There's a fair bit of movement going on here for that. I'm going to try and work out who Siver is. Shiver. Let's just see if I can get that split. Okay. So, Rohit Sharma, best player. He certainly is there. There's no doubt about that. Should be so show. Oh, yeah, we talked about that already. This English batting lineup is pathetic. It's been so far. Well, you can't say that. I think Australia should bat England out of this game. They will be. Don't worry. My best world 11 is why am I talking about a world 11? It's a team that I don't understand. Rohit Sharma, but Warner opening, yeah. Labuschagne, I wouldn't say on the three, but I guess he is. Cole at 5. IDK at 5. IDK. Who's IDK? Saha. No way is Saha the best keeper in the world. No way. Ashwin, Jamieson on his day. Broad, Bolt, Brummer. It's a hard one. Why pitching outside leg is not to be considered as hitting the wicket? I don't understand this. What do you mean pitching outside leg ball is not considered hitting the wicket? Well, it's just the way that the rules are. It's the way that the rules are. It stops the leg side point of delivery. Some shocking video quality coming through here at the moment. Yes. All right. So pushing outside leg is deemed to be no ball. It's just the way that otherwise we have a leg side that be fall into the days of body line. Steve Smith on his day is one of the best. Yes. England bowlers are capable of playing 20 plus wickets in the Ashes series. Yes. Well, with Anderson Broad, absolutely. Here we go. Okay. Who is the best current keeper, then if not Saha? Look, there's quite a few. I mean, Rishabh Pant on his day would be the best. Josh Butler would be the best. Tim Payne glove-wise certainly was before he left. Quinton de Kock's also up there. Saha, his batting lets him down. I don't think he's worthy of that. It's just a big statement to say he's the best. That's my opinion. Mixed team of India and New Zealand versus Australia and England and South Africa. Who wins? What are we? Why are we even considering that? A mixed team of India and New Zealand versus Australia and England. Well, you'd think there would be India and New Zealand because of the top two sides. That's my opinion. As a keeper, no, I don't know. I agree. The direct download is here. I don't get what's going on there. Anthony is the greatest keeper of all time. He's right up there. Adam Gilchrist, I'm afraid, would have to be right up there. Adam Gilchrist is known to beat any of the wisdom sides of the century. Adam Gilchrist is right up there. The way he changed batting was forever. You're 11 for these teams, then we can decide. Yeah, go ahead and put that together. You guys, you work all that out for me. It's been a particularly good day, though, hasn't it, guys? I'm just trying to work out what's wrong with my bloody iPad. Well, we're not really wanting to talk about 11s of the world. It's just, that's not what we're talking about. This is not a world 11. This is about the game between Australia and England and the Ashes. And we can talk a bit about the Indian situation. Love you, sir. Thank you. I don't know what's wrong with this iPad. It's refusing to work. Okay, so David. I'm not allowing to do it. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure what you're saying, Kishane, but that's all right. We've had a very big day, guys. It's been a very big day. So, in terms of, I've got a video from John Lewis, who's the England bowling coach, and we've got obviously one from Travis Head in his performance. Yes, he lives in Sydney, Australia. Me too. Okay. Okay, the question I live in Sydney, in Coogee Beach, Sydney, Australia. That's the question you want to ask me. Okay. So look, we exported it. So we've got it on the record here. Oh, we've got both videos out. That's good. I'm going to duplicate that. And by duplicating, are we going to be able to then split this, edit? Let's try and work at saving this as a new clip. All right. Okay, we've got two videos. This is now. Okay. We're cool. We're in business, guys. Okay, so while we're talking, I'm just going to. So, comedy of errors is a literal, it's literature level. It really is. Pan eyes on cricket. Pon eyes on cricket. Don't knock has Travis committed number 5. Of course, for now, he certainly has to be considered that way. It has to be considered. I don't know about that at all. Let's get this on there, shall we? Let's get this on there. Let's get this down. Upload a video. We're going to upload the video of Travis Head. He certainly, he had a very good speech here. So media conference, I'll hold it head up, media conference. Centurion Travis Head. And courtesy, got to get courtesy of Cricket Australia. So this is what I'm doing now, guys. I'm putting courtesy of Cricket Australia. And then I'm going to put, so it was done in the one session. Century. Okay. It's pretty good going. It really is. It was a magnificent performance, let's be honest. It was a fantastic effort. To get the century in one session is a big deal. Would you agree, guys? So we put Australia versus England, and they put, I guess we'd put Travis Head because he got a century. Travis Head hasn't got any markers here at all, which is unfortunate. Pat Cummins has certainly really hit the world on fire, hasn't he? Let's be honest, he's a great player and deserves all the accolades he's getting. To get a 5 from the first innings, we must say, was a brilliant effort. And now this effort by Travis Head, it certainly does go recognised. So let's go look at some of the records that I've seen there regarding we're going to all the players. We've got Ashes, fans, membership, and I'm uploading. There we are. It's uploading. It's on its way, guys. Hooray. All right. Now, what's all this? Now you got to, I'm surprised why you don't have millions of subscribers. Well, thank you. It'll come one day. Average peak age of batsman in Test cricket is certainly over 30 now. I'm surprised why you don't have, okay. Why Bill Laurie isn't doing commentary this time? He's almost 90 odd. He's probably past it, age-wise. Here's Ravetti. I don't get this. Latham Rowett, Virat Kohli. Okay. Look, Rohit Sharma, it has to be there with probably Dave Warner. First drop, Labuschagne, I guess. Kohli, Smith. Prashad Palms all over this year was there. Well, the partner's only come live. Well, she was meant to. She's just not available at the moment. I can't expect them to be available all the time, guys. I have to be fair to these people. You know, they are. I can't be. I'm available every day because it's my channel. We can't. You know, we can't expect it all the time, guys. So we've got the videos here situation. Checking at 13%. Submit. Put another best photo. There it is. It's off and running. It's quite an incredible feat. I made only India and New Zealand mixed team. I don't know why we need to do this. It's not going to really play short form cricket. Well, no, I don't think he should. He shouldn't be an automatic selection, but he hasn't quite proven himself yet, guys. So, got to be fair to him. So I've got Travis Head talking there.
Thanks for joining us. Travis Head, Century Maker today on this day of the Ashes Test. As always, guys, we'll go to the floor first and then we'll head over to Zoom. Probably got about 10 minutes or so because there are cards to leave, so good on that. Travis, congratulations on a terrific knock. You had plenty of intent and energy from the moment.
There was certainly plenty of intent, wasn't there? Plenty of intent.
When you came into the match, England was a little bit of a run there for a while. Yeah, it was just about being as clear as I possibly could. They started extremely well. The couple of sets there that was Robinson bowled were quite difficult, and I felt the wicket was there was a little bit there.
A lot to be said about this interview from. You got to give a lot of credit for it's worth watching for sure. I'm going to send it to my Twitter account. And share it with my other social media accounts. Very important to keep current with what you're doing with your broadcasting, because it's even when you're on air doing discussions, you've got to be multitasked to do things while I'm doing now. So what is your best talent? My Wade 3 6s. I like that. Yeah, Shaheen Afridi. Yeah, look, Wade did exceptionally well. I'm not sure whether we can really immediately have him factored into anything other than that. It's horses for courses, times and moments in the life of a player. That's what we've got to remember, guys. It's very important to remember that you can't just thrust people into a situation where they've done well in. No one was famous. Like that. What's this? So Centurion. Is the word Centurion, I'm guessing. What's going on here? That's better. Bang. All right, so 3 6s to Freddie Wade was quite amazing. Yes, it was definitely a major achievement. Missing Richie Beno commentary. I certainly am too. I think he was someone of very special note. Noted about that. He was certainly right up there with some of the best commentators ever. It's a bit of a Wade can't even see the ball properly. Well, apparently has some like colour blindness, which is intriguing. So I think Travis Head's got that problem too, actually. good century in a session by Travis Head. Just put that up there again. It's Travis Head. There we are. We're done now. Okay. What is your opinion on Rohit Sharma, the ODI company? Fantastic. He's proven it in the IPL, and he should deserve his chance. Let's see how he goes. Well, it's T20, I know, but so Wade can't even see it all. Okay. We all of you. That is great. Yes, it is. That's why Wade is not a good option in test for keeping. He's not a test keeper. Let's not even consider that. We've got to consider where he is. I would Alex Carey was sound. Certainly. Yeah, it's one of those things that we got to respect that. So, what is your opinion? Okay, I mentioned it, official audio. I think he's been fantastic. Okay, when Australia won against Pakistan, all I needed to say that no one with cracking crackers. Okay, well that wasn't nice. And Australia probably didn't deserve to win any of it, to be honest. We got the World Cup victory. You got to take your hat to them. They did a great job. We'll start to consider a few. Upload the video there of let's have a look here. Well, everything system-wise is very slow at the moment, I've noticed. Media conference, of course. So that England's England bowling coach. Now, this bowling coach, don't forget, was the bowling coach that actually brought through Jofra Archer. How many years can the Aussie bowling trio come back off? Great question, Samathia. I would say that their days numbered. Their days numbered. Ash's first test, in fact, wasn't it? It was the first test. What it is? And the GABBA. Tell me, what does GABBA mean? Why is it called the GABBA? Can you tell me? Can anyone give me an answer to why it's called the GABBA? E, C, B. We'll find some way of reducing this. There we are. Done it. Done it. I had success, guys. It's been a bit of a success here. Well, the Ashes is laden with so many things to do, as you know. Now, John Lewis was the coach who brought Jofra Archer into play. And he was a sensation. He got even credit for that. Jofra Archer. John Lewis. Okay. I'm just trying to get that. It's a lot of extra work, guys. Sir, can you repeat what you said? It wasn't clear. What about what? I'm sorry. Am I mumbling? I was talking about the John Lewis. John Lewis is somebody who was the man that brought through Jofra Archer, the fast bowler, as we all know, who played for England. He nurtured him from the Caribbean, brought him across, and unearthed a champion. Unfortunately, his fitness has been an issue, and that's why we now have a situation where he's not playing. But he would always be selected. Let's be honest. All right. About the Aussie trio, sir. The Aussie trio. Okay. I wanted to talk about that. So, Josh, Hazelwood, Stark, and to a lesser extent Cummins, age-wise, are starting to get along. There'll be a time when they'll have to transition out. Jai Richardson is probably one bowler that will come into play. I think Stark's days are somewhat numbered. He may have to reduce the number of formats that he plays. Hazelwood's got a bit more in him, and Cummins is going to be captain for 5 years. So that's the way I look at it at this point. But their days together are numbered. There's no doubt about that. That's not a negative thing to say. It's just a reality thing to say. We have to be fair to the situation. They've been around for quite a while now as players, and they can't be expected to be together for as long as they want to be. There's a point in time when they have to, be realistic with what happens in their playing and their bowling, and they have to reduce the formats. Even Kohli's reducing the captaincy numbers of his formats, but he's still playing all three formats. But his days are numbered for T20. He knows that. All the team who won against India lost to Australia. Semi-final final. That's why we love Australia. Okay. Pakistan and England probably deserve to be the 1 and 2 in the World Cup. Let's be honest. New Zealand snuck through. Australia played well when it counted most. That's the reality of it. You've got to be fair to both England and Pakistan peaked probably a little bit too early. Probably peaked a little bit too early. It's quite a number that I watched that. More often you get 1,000 watch the show, that's for sure. Whereas I've got 30. Okay. Because I love them a lot. Well, be 100 body when Mitchell Stark retires. I love him a lot. Okay, Samantha, I like that. Samantha, are you a girl? Are you a female? I'm not sure. But yeah, look, he's a great player. He's a very fit man. He's got a lot going for him. It's something of a day in the life of all.
Much into that performance. What you do here with
certainly impressive, to say the least. But you've got to give it to the fitness of some of these players. James Anderson is 39. He's still playing. He can't play this match. He and Broad are both, but they're both the 3rd and 6th on the overall table of bowlers in the world. Amazing. Okay, and it's a fantastic position to be in. You have to understand that, and they will certainly leave a legacy. Mitchell Stark will also have his day where his fitness will wane, and there is an issue around that for sure. So that's what's going to be the case with both of them. And all three of them, in fact, you've mentioned, I would say Stark will be the first to leave, and the Hazel won't be far behind. And Cummins, depending on how he goes, may go a bit longer. He's got his body in act together. And, he's probably worthy of a bit more time, for sure. Absolutely. But Australia has to look away from them now a little bit, because we really have an issue when it comes to that whole saga of who follows next. It's going to be a real issue. Absolutely huge issue. So look what the stories with that video. How's it going number wise? Because everybody's watching this program, of course. Yeah, well, who watching that? So are we. Yeah, it's going to be an issue. Okay, it's going to be an issue. So tell me more about what you think about this game, guys. The reality is we have a lot. Kerry O'Keefe certainly has a lot to say. $2 million for a touring car. Wow. Okay. Travis Head, 112 not out. Australia was some 196 in front, so effectively they're 323. Well, 196 lead. Only 2 days have gone and 2 innings are virtually finished. We've got 3 days to finish. Will probably only be 1 innings. That is the England innings. Will probably, unfortunately, go to a certain point. A certain point where who will strike the first blow. The first blow has already been dealt. So I don't know whether that's a question. There's a lot to be said about that. A lot to come through. A lot to be showing up about all of this. Australia will definitely win this test match. But in Adelaide, they bring back Stuart Broad and Anderson. You should see a very distinct change in the way that in the fabric of England bowling up with Ollie Robinson there. They may have to forego Chris Wokes, and Leach may go as well. They may bring Anderson Broad in and move out Leach and Wokes. Hopefully Mark Wood's still fit, and hopefully Ben Stokes is still fit. That's the other person of concern to me, is how we will see the likes of whether Ben Stokes is going to be fit. He didn't come across very well, did he? Yeah. So pretty good numbers. Certainly in an overall sense. What we got here? It's dropped off a fair bit there. You're going to be able to make that point. Okay. Any more questions, guys? Ask me a question. How long will this stream last? Well, it's not far away from finishing, guys, but we need interaction is what is important to this. You need to tell me more about what you want to see. We've seen a number of aspects of the Indian squad, with Rohit Sharma and Rahul returning. Agarwal should be first drop, and it should be between him and Pujara. But Pujara needs to move aside. And Rahani's already moved aside. Shreyas Iyer's got in that position. If Rishabh Pant returns, Saha will be out. Then you'll have, of course, Ashwin there without Jadeja, so you may have to see a Shardul return. Axar Patel's not there as well, so Giant Sharma might be around. Giant Yadav might be a part of that. But Bumrah, Shami, Siraj would have to be the ones. Umesh Yadav, then Ishant Sharma. That is probably the way of looking at that tally. I can't see that being any other way. No other way of looking at that. Absolutely not. That'll be a great tour. The first test, of course, is December 26th. This test here is into its third day tomorrow. Australia are 343 for 7. There's some 196 runs in front of a 147 score of England. Travis Head hit a magnificent 112 not out in a session, basically. and he's joined by Mitchell Stark, who's on 10 not out, and there's Hazelwood and Lyon. So you would think sometime in that first session they'll be all out, setting England a total of around 220 to 250, just to make Australia bad again. And considering their first innings score of 147, it makes it increasingly unlikely that would happen. Increasingly unlikely that'll happen. Increasingly unlikely. But guys, stay tuned. We've got the video following of both Travis Head and his discussions post his century today, and also John Lewis English bowling. Bye-bye, sir. See you later. I don't have one. You don't have one. Pujara can't go as man. It's not a player who'll play at 3. Well, Pujara is probably going to go. Mark Agarwal may then open, and then Rahul may be number 3. That could well happen. Why wouldn't that be possible? No reason why that can't happen. Next story is for Australia after this. A good question. I think we're touring. We may have to go back to South Africa. Don't know offhand. I think it might be South Africa. Or could it be New Zealand? I think it's South Africa, actually. New Zealand might be somewhere in there. I do remember hearing South Africa being a part of it too. I did see something about South Africa, but I'll have a look at that. I'm not sure offhand. All right, guys, if there are no more questions, we'll end up finishing this session. And we'll get together again tomorrow morning for day 3. And they will be the last day of the test, leaving us a bit of a gap between the 2 tests. Might well be the case. Next series. Okay, I'm going to have a look at that. I'm going to have a look at that now. So the next series, let's have a look at this. ESPN, we'll confirm it before I go, shall I? So, okay, and they normally get future series. It says here, series. South Africa playing India, we know that. Bangladesh are currently playing Pakistan. India versus New Zealand is finished. Sri Lanka versus West Indies, Pakistan versus West Indies are also going to occur. Future series, let's have a look at these future series. So, Ashes, India versus New Zealand, Sri Lanka versus West Indies, Bangladesh versus Pakistan, Pakistan versus West Indies, India A tour of South Africa happening, South Africa versus India, Sri Lanka under 19s, England under 19. So, okay, there's a fair few there. Future series, here we go. Australia going to tour New Zealand in March of 2022. So Bangladesh tour New Zealand first in January of 2022. So Bangladesh to tour New Zealand. Ireland to tour West Indies in January of 2022. West Indies women's tour of South Africa, January, February of 2022. India women's tour of New Zealand, February 2022. Of course, it's followed by the World Cup there in March, April. Then South Africa tour New Zealand, February 2022. Everybody's touring New Zealand. Australia will tour New Zealand in March of 2022. Netherlands are touring New Zealand in March, April of 2022. Everybody's going to New Zealand. Australian tour of Pakistan is March, April of 2022, which is meant to be in Pakistan. So Australia will play New Zealand March of 2022, and then they'll tour Pakistan in March, April of 2022. So they're the series that are following here for Australia. There you go. Interesting little breakdown, that certainly is. Well, I have answered your question. What have you answered? What do you mean? Yeah, well, I did say Pakistan, but before that, they're playing New Zealand. And series in India for Australia, no, not at this point. Not at this point. At least not for some time. But that'll be worth going to watch for sure. Absolutely worth going to watch. Everyone is touring New Zealand, exactly as what I just said. Everybody's touring New Zealand, that's for sure. Crazy as it sounds. Crazy as it sounds. Where are you? I'm actually in Coogee Beach, Sydney, Australia. There's a bit of spamming going on there. All right, guys. Any more questions? But there's some interesting tours there, I must say. I'm very tempted to post this. See if I can get the link to transpose to my... No. Why is it not doing that? So I've got to... So I'm going to do it again. No, that's not coming. Let's see if I can get a bit of a photograph going, actually. There we are. There were streakers, beamers, and mozzies. There certainly was a lot going on. Okay, I'm going to try and get this photograph up. This is an Indian Aussie show. This is an Indian Aussie show. What I'm in, yes, I'm leaving for no questions. Okay, well, then if you're all asking questions, this is ask questions. Eshe, Maxwell is next captain for RCB. That could well be the case. Could well be the case that Maxwell will be the next captain for RCB. And deservedly so, you would think. He would certainly deserve that position, I would say. Don't you think? He's a great player, great mind, actually, too. Great mind. Superb mind. Very impressed with him from that perspective. There's no, yes, for sure. I'm just posting the future tours 2022. I think it's a very interesting little read. Albeit it's of a so-called copy, but it's Seasmith is father of England bowler and fielder. Why would you say that? Sorry for my Davey, he will score more in the coming matches. ROPSRH. Yeah. Look, he's still a spectacle to be seen, isn't he? He really is. He's a great player to watch. We all know that. No doubt about that. It's a great player to watch. Norman, great to see you, brother. VJ, how are you, VJ? If no ABD, then Axie because of Abby de Villiers. What? Is that what you're saying? We've always got this regulations about whether you monetize your videos and all the stuff that goes on there. There's a bit of hoo-ha going on there, I tell you. Okay. All right, we're getting somewhere, guys. We're getting somewhere big time. So look here. Everything's in order. But John Lewis looking up, what's he look like there? There's a bit crook there. He's looking towards the heavens. I like that one. It's a funny one. I find that amusing. When he looks to the sky, it's quite funny. It's Aussie summertime. It's big time as it's Aussie summertime. You bet it is.
Smoking as well for people that can't afford it anymore, want to try and quit, like vapes, for example. It's not coming out. It's not coming out with other.
It's amazing. It's like a mixed bag of things going on here, for sure. Maybe Jamison not the T20 player. Well, I don't think we've quite worked out what we're doing with Jamison, to be honest, whether he's a T20 player or not. The word's out on him a little bit there. I think they're still not quite sure what's going on. That's fair enough. Big, tall, strapping laddies. Is he a fast mover? Relatively fast mover. So gaming with Puranjay, you ask questions. You're the one that's the big question asker here. The big question asker. You are usually asking a lot of questions. But yeah, look, Bangladesh will tour New Zealand in January 2022. Ireland will tour West Indies in 2022. Also in January. West Indies women will tour South Africa, January and February of 2022. South Africa will tour New Zealand in February of 2022. India women will tour New Zealand, hopefully playing against New Zealand women. Australia will tour New Zealand in March of next year, 2022. Netherlands will then follow in March and April, and then Australia will head from New Zealand, I would imagine, very soon after that to Pakistan, March and April of 2024. I'd love to go and see a match there in Lahore. That would be my dream match to watch, only because of the location. No, good more than that. As you're getting more excited, you're doing a great job. Thank you. Well, thank you. We want India versus Australia Test Series again. We'll get it. Don't worry, you'll get it. You'll get plenty of it. You'll get plenty of that. You can be assured of that. You'll get plenty of that. Plenty of that will happen. Okay. How can there be matches in April as IPL taking place? Australia tour of Pakistan is March and April. Netherlands tour New Zealand, March and April. So that means that Australia will probably go from there to the IPL, and any players from New Zealand will go to the IPL. That's probably what will happen. Yeah, well, that's pretty good going, really. Yeah, about 20 odd. So, how can there be an IPL? Well, it must be late in April that it's starting. Do you know what the dates are for the IPL? I think that's more like that. And then you got the Women's World Cup happening around that same time in New Zealand. Then September, October. That's what Men's T20 World Cup starts. That's Dubai. That's wrong. No, that'll be there next year. So there'll be a men's in September, October, close to November, and there'll be a women's in March, April. I will take good care of my health. Thank you. That water is not available for IPL 2020. Is that correct? Do you know that, or are you just saying that? Okay, we're getting very, very close. Very, very, very close. Why so water are you not available? I don't know. I've been told by someone else. I didn't say that that's what's happening. Someone can tell me the facts of why he's not coming. It'll be interesting to hear that. So I haven't heard that. I don't think anyone's heard that, have they? Okay. All right. Okay. So if we're not and got any more questions, we'll finish up today. We'll talk tomorrow. Great to talk to you all. Okay. View, like, and share my posts. View, like, and then share them to your WhatsApp groups, your Facebook Messenger groups, your LinkedIn groups, wherever they might be. And more importantly, then also hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and then go to Norm Koch, which is my Instagram and Twitter, and Norman Kochnik, which is my Facebook and my LinkedIn. Or maybe it won't be. It'll be interesting to see what happens there with the Australia Pakistani series. I don't quite know. What is the story? Let's look at those future tournaments, and I'll go to future tournaments again. Australian Tour at Pakistan. Let's have a look at that. First test is March 3rd to 7th in Karachi. Second test is in Rawalpindi, March 12th to 16th. Then the third test is in Lahore, March 21st to 25th. They're the tests. And the ODIs start March 29, March 31st, April 2nd, April 5th, with April 5th being the only T20I. So 29th, 31st, and 2nd of April, 5th being last. It's barely into the start of April, so Warner can be available for whatever he wants to be available for, let's be honest. No issue there at all. All right. All right, guys, we might just finish up now. Let's just see where we're at. $6.46, all right. Good going. IPL starts 1st of April. Well, could be a bit of an overlap, but let's not concern ourselves with that too much. All right, analytics there. So, guys, I'll be saying goodbye. You have been live for over 2 hours now. You're right. All the best, guys. 220 minutes. See you again tomorrow morning for pre-match. Get up really early, guys. Really early. Okay. See you later. Bye.